Molly, hey, congratulations on your new film, Wild Eyed and the Wicked.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So tell us, what initially drew you that you wanted to be a part of this project?
I was really attracted to the script right away. Um, as soon as I read the script, I was like, this is something I've never seen before. This is weird. Like, what's going on here with the genres and it just fascinated me, and I loved Lily's character. I loved how complex and dark she is, and how that little glimmer of hope still comes through, and her strength too.
So how do you get into the mental capacity of playing a character like Lily, who's basically struggling on her own from start to finish?
I think that there was um, a lot of research into trauma, and a lot of exploring what it means to, how someone lives trying to cope with but never fully heal an old wound, and how that still manifests in her life until she gets back to the source and really closes that chapter and heals that wound. So a lot of prep, a lot of research, a lot of delving into why she is the way she is.
Can you tell us some of this prep and research that you've done before taking this role?
I had done a lot of reading, like psychological, like psych textbooks, actually. I think I always have a couple different elements of a character that I explore when I'm researching a role. And you've got the cerebral element, which is what's their headspace, where are they coming from, what's their trauma. And I'll like build out a document that's, here's what her life has been like, and create a backstory. And then I'll research, and that's mostly kind of psychology, and what do people who've experienced, what is their mindset? What types of things show up for them? And then there's also the physicality, like that element of how does she move? She's a fencing instructor, What do I know about her, and what does that mean about her body and how she carries herself? And also trauma manifests itself physically. So there's that too. Like, and I wanted her to be kind of always a little bit contained, as if physically, like, because she's really trying to hold herself together. Um, and even with her even with her job choice, she's combative, and she's wearing protective gear. I think she's a deeply vulnerable and hurt character who tries to put a hard shell around herself so that she doesn't have to feel all of that.
Now, before taking this role as Lily, did you already had experience with fencing?
No, no, but they gave me like lessons. I took fencing lessons, and I also did broadsword training, um, for like the work with the sword. And I did resistance training and strength training as well before we started filming, so that I could um so that I could try to like get the physicality of the character, but also just so I could wear that armor and not crumble.
So, what's the difference to you between fencing and broadsword swinging? I mean, obviously one is poking and the other one's slashing, but
Yeah.
what's the major difference like to you both playing those different combat roles?
I think the partially the way you ground yourself. Fencing feels a little bit more like a dance to me. A lot of it's about the footwork and foot placement, and you have to sort of be light on your feet because you're moving forward and you're moving back, and you're you're also like doing a little dance with your swords with the or with your foils with the other person, and anticipating their next move, and it's like dancing. So to me, that is sort of a lighter, more choreography based type interaction. And then the broadsword fighting is like you need to be it's combat in a much more literal sense. You want to be heavy in your body and grounded, and a wider stance that's kind of like make your movements efficient, because every move costs you a lot because it's so much effort. So that one I think feels a little more a little less like a dance and a little more reactive. You
Mhm.
know, respond to the imminent threat and find it and know what move you need to do to get that neutralize that threat, I guess. I don't know why I started talking like a spy, but
As as an
like
act,
acquire the target.
there you go.
Um,
As an actor, when you acquire, go into these with these new skills that you train for, do you keep up with them after the project is done, or you basically say to yourself, "Well, I'm glad that's over."
it depends on the skill. I mean, I could not possibly. I've done so many roles and I've learned so many cool skills. I could never possibly have the time to keep up with all of them. Um, it's just like I would be unsustainable. But there are definitely some that I wish I had kept up with a little more. Fencing was a blast. I would love to pick that back up. It's kind of just a matter of what do you have time for, and then I'm also in every new role that I'm doing, I'm training and acquiring that skill set. So it's sort of like, yeah, I don't know that there's one that I've really kept up with that much. But I played a Marine once, and that taught me a lot about like how to work out better, I guess. Kind of kept up with that.
Oh, that is good to hear, because I do remember when I think the last time I spoke to you was for a film called The Wolf and the Lion, and to me,
Oh, yes. Yes. The animals.
yeah, and I was like going,
Yeah.
gosh, I wonder if Molly kept up, conversing with the animals this entire time.
Yeah, I get updates on them. Um, and it makes me so happy. Yeah.
Wow, that is wonderful. I understand getting updates with like other actors once in a while,
Right.
but trying to get updates with, animal actors that you worked on so long ago with no social media, that is quite something.
Yeah, well, I have a relationship with obviously the um our wrangler on the movie. Like he still works with them and lives with them and takes care of them, and so he will like give me updates. Hey, here they are. Here they still are up to their old tricks. Here's how much they weigh now, and all those little things. I know Paddington, my wolf, is now like working on another project, so obviously he needs to thank me for getting his career off to a start. But he's yeah, it's really fun to keep up with them and know what they're up to.
That is wonderful. Now, let's address something that I'm not jealous of, is getting into I want to say a full-plated armor for for this project, because just
Mhm.
by watching you trying to get in, I felt sorry. So was it a real armor, or was it like did they make like a plastic one for you to
No, it was real. It was real armor. They had it custom made in Europe, I believe, and then shipped over. And it weighed 40 pounds, the chainmail plus the plates. And then you also have the sword and the shield, and those were real, or you know, they were also real and heavy, and it was, yeah, it was an extraordinary physical challenge, but it was so it was so cool and so cathartic to really get to, you know, this is her fighting for her life. And I think to be able to really feel that and feel the literal weight on my body of this this like epic fight that she's taking on was really cool. And such a unique experience. Like nobody really gets to just do that. So yeah, I loved it. Was very hard, but in a good way.
So do you often enjoy doing your own stunts like this? What was it very hot in that thing? Like you have to take periodic 5-minute rests or something like that?
You know, it wasn't as hot as I expected it to be. We shot in the summer, so I thought like, oh no, here we go. Like we're shooting in the summer and I have this armor, but it was not as bad as I expected because a lot of it was night shoots. So you have the temperature gets cooler at night, and it I think I just didn't even focus on it. I was so like in the zone. I wasn't focused on how hot is it, or you know, does my shoulder ache or something. Like it all kind of rolls off because you're just in the adrenaline of the scene. And yeah.
Well said, well said. And Molly, do you often do horror films yourself? Are you a fan of this type of genre?
This was my first horror film I'd ever done. And I I honestly am like kind of a scaredy cat with horror movies. Like I get scared really easily. And I yeah, I mean there are a lot of horror movies that I've loved recently. I loved Parasite, I loved Get Out. Um I mean, this isn't recent, but it's a classic. Like I love Psycho. That I think that what's cool about horror movies is the exploration of fear, because that's so critical to like who we are as humans. Like you're controlled by your fears, and they control your life if you don't um, confront them. So there is something very like uh, yeah, just very poetic sort of about horror movies that I think we don't give them credit for sometimes.
Most excellent. Well, Molly, thank you very much for carrying the conversation for with Wild Eyed and the Wicked. But before I let you go, how's your experience on The Irrational yourself? I mean that is such a good series.
Oh, thank you so much. I it's a blast. I mean, I'm up here right now shooting season 2. Um, I love I love playing this character. I love Phoebe because she's very similar to myself, and I love psychology and behavioral psychology especially. I mean, it's a big part of what I do as an actor. So it's been really fun to be up here and to film this show and to like spend so many episodes with a character. Um, yeah, it's been a blast, and I'm glad you like the show.
I did. I watched that those episodes so many times and enthralled with the characters on the
Oh,
show.
great.
It's great. So
Well, you have to check out season 2.
I
Yeah.
definitely will. Thank you very much, Molly. Thank you for
Thank you so much.